Good afternoon, colleagues. As promised, we've got Coach Julian with us ahead of Munster this weekend. We've got, Jules, or what? We've got 10 to 12 minutes for the session. So whoever wants to kick us off, we can go. If we can raise hands, guys, so we can make the process a bit easier.
Hello, Mo. Good afternoon.
Hi, Julian.
All right, Morgan, you've got the first one.
Thanks, Nisu. How's it, Julian?
Yeah,
Julian, lekker, thanks, man. You guys had a fantastic result on the weekend, but how important is it to back it up going into another tough one against another Irish giant?
Yeah, I think, you actually summed it up perfectly there, Morgan. I think we are really happy with the performance this weekend, but it won't mean a lot if we can't back it up with a good performance again. So, we already shifted our focus from the Leinster game onto the Munster game. They are the defending champions. They beat the Bulls this weekend. They've got a great squad because they're out of the European competition. They got their best squad here. So we're not under any illusions as to what they will bring this weekend. So our prep for this weekend has been solely on them.
Thanks, Julian.
See it.
Thanks, Morgan. Anyone else got a question? I don't see any hands. All right, Kobus.
Thanks, Nisu. Hi, Julian.
Hello, Kobus.
If you look at the two teams, obviously both are Irish teams. Do Munster really play different from what you experienced on Saturday?
Yes, I do think there are some subtle differences. What you do find with the Irish teams, they all play smart rugby. So they've got small nuances with their breakdowns, with their defensive breakdowns. So in that aspect, you can expect very similar play. I think Leinster do play a little bit more. And listen, me saying that as a prop is maybe a little bit dangerous, but I'm going to give my best shot. Munster with their 9, with their 10, they tend to kick a lot more contestables, whereas Leinster would still look to run rather. So, I think our receiving of our kicks, working back to set ourselves into counter or to set ourselves into sending the kicks back, I think that's going to be a little bit different than what we experienced this weekend versus Leinster.
And Julian, just if we look at your portfolio, the pack really played well on Saturday. How far from the perfect performance was that on Saturday? If there is something like a perfect performance.
Yeah, I think for us as forwards, if we just break it down into the forwards, I think there was a lot of work-ons for us this week. I think Scrum-wise, there was a lot of penalties for us, some penalties against us, which obviously you never want to concede penalties. That just gives them territory and possession. So, I think there's a couple of pointers that we need to sharpen up. I think line-out-wise, I think our stopping there more was really accurate. We didn't give them any meters there. And our defense around that, because they were on our trial line for 15 minutes before halftime, and we managed to keep them out with set piece and also then working hard to keep them out. I think that's a big turning point in the game. And then lineouts also, there was a couple of work-ons for us. So I think the score was a great score, but I think if you really dive into our performance, we'd say, and our players would say, there's still a lot of things, small things that we can do better, that we must do better to perform consistently.
Thanks, Julian.
Awesome. Thanks, Kobus. Okay, we'll go Heinz and then we'll go Ross.
Hi, Julian. Hoop het gaan goed.
Right.
Julian, I know it's become a bit of a cliche now, given how the Springboks have done it, but it's been very pertinent in the past few weeks, actually, that you guys now have 2 front rows that basically can, put pressure on the opposition. And when the second batch comes on, they basically just carry on where the rest laid the platform. Do you believe you have developed the type of depth now, that you guys actually have a bit of a bomb squad front row dynamic going on?
Yeah, that's a great question, Hans. And I think, and I've said this before, I really believe the strength of the pack at this moment is the competition between the guys. If you look at our titles, we've got Dreyer, we've got Assa, we've got Ruan Smith, we've got Bierke that recently played really well, and Siwu. So we've got 5 great tight ends. And then Lucas, you've got Morgan, you've got JP. So these guys scrum against each other every week and really make each other better. And I think all of us have watched Chasing the Sun, and that's what you can see with the Boks as well. Their toughest scrumming opposition is on Wednesdays, not on Saturdays. So I really believe that's the strength to our pack at the moment is our in the week. These guys really push each other hard and make each other better. So yeah, that's lucky for us to say we can use our subs, we can use our impact players to come on, like you said, a bomb squad, and you can bring them on and you can expect the same set piece. And then if they are against a little bit like a second string front row, we should get more dominance. So yeah, it's good to see that we've been getting that, and it's something that we look forward to still get better at.
Thank you, Julian.
See you later.
Thanks, Heinz. Ross, you up?
Thanks, Janisa. How's it, Rowan? Julian, the Heinz asked pretty much a very similar question to what I was thinking of as well, in terms of your guys' depth there in the front row now. You guys went with sort of your backup guys in Ruan and Morgan this weekend, and Asa and JP, who've been your starters for most of the season, came off the bench. Was that then sort of to get that impact in the second half? And is that something you guys will look to do a bit more now that you've got this depth? Or do you think you'd more revert to, having your strongest guys on from the start and bringing the other guys in after?
Yeah, that's a good question. And always when I look at the Springboks, their team selection, you used to see that as well. You used to see subtle rotations. I think for us, if I can answer just for us, it's what the game needs. And there's a lot of things to consider. Obviously, the scrum is a big part of a front row's job, but also the way of play for the weekend, what we're expecting from them. So it's almost selecting the best guys for the game, starting for what we expect the game to be in the beginning of the game, and then also how the game is going to end. So it's a little bit of strategy from our side. It's not necessarily this is the best guy or second best guy. It's almost like what's the best player and combinations for this specific game, if that makes sense, Ross.
Yes, thanks. And then you guys also, you mentioned about, your struggles at the line out this weekend. Obviously, you also had a couple of guys there, you had Ruan Delport, who hadn't played too much this season. Willem's been in and out. Do you guys have any injury concerns at line out? Was that why you were missing a few of your other guys? Or was it just more rotation and giving the guys a run and all that?
Yeah, it's the same thing for us at 5 lock. We've got Ruan Delport, we've got Notis, we've got Darian. And then Ruben that can also help out at 5. So we've got 4 guys that can run the system. And it's almost for us again, what's needed for the game. I think Ruan Delport is a youngster that haven't played a lot this year. Darian and Notis has carried most of the burden for the season. But it was good to get him out there in a really important game. It's good to throw a youngster into a Leinster game at home. And it was good to see he got a knock against the head early in the game, but he still managed to fight for, I think it was 60 minutes before we had to take him off, and then Willem had to stay on for 80, which was great to see that him at 39 years old can still put in. I think he made the most tackles by 5 in the whole team, and he went 80. So it was good to see him also stepping up where the team needed him. Sorry if there's some background noise. The guys are getting excited about cards or something outside here.
All good. And then obviously, you guys could come up against Archia this weekend. He had a great game against the Bulls. So again, the Locks are going to be under pressure in the lineouts there. And is that something they're looking forward to?
Yeah. I think for any player, if you're a youngster or senior guy, it doesn't matter. You want to play against guys that are rated. And I think Archia is rated for good reason. And if you can play against him and you can stand in the lineup next to him, that's how you want to measure yourself. So definitely for us this weekend, and they've got quality players throughout the whole pack. So for us, we definitely see it as a great opportunity to play against world-class players. They've got the Irish captain, they've got the Irish 10, or even, but this is Skakelpan Engels, their 9-10 combo. So really lucky for us to play against that type of team, those type of players. But saying that for us to have success this weekend, we'll have to focus on ourselves, focus on our process, and also not let that be too big of a thing. If you focus too much on other people, you tend to forget about what you need to do. So focus on us is vitally important, but also knowing what you're up against, like you guys rightfully said. It is a quality team with quality players.
Thanks very much.
Thanks for those, Ross. Guys, I don't see any other hands. Can I take one more? Whose hand is that? Okay, we'll go Liam, and then we'll close up with Dylan.
Hi, Julian. Thanks for taking the time. I
Okay.
wanted to ask you about last weekend's game and the way the Lions game managed their way to that win. It's probably fair to say that there were previous games where you didn't manage to do that, but last weekend you did that well. Is that in terms of the Lions' development as a squad? How much do you take out of that? Do you see that as another gear that you guys clicked and that you've moved forward?
Yes, that's a great question, Liam. I think the growth in the team that we've seen, especially the drivers. If you talk drivers, you talk about your hooker, your spine, like Coach Swayze needs to say, your hooker, your 5, your 8, your 9, your 10, your 15. Those guys making really important game decisions. I think our decision making this weekend was probably some of the top performances. If you just look at the decision making and driving the game, so. It is the growth in the team. It is the synergy between the players. We are in a stage now where we are getting, I think we've got 6 guys celebrating their 50th caps that we're going to celebrate this weekend, but it's been over the last 4 weeks. There's been 6 guys reaching their 50. So we are getting to a stage where these guys have played a lot of rugby together. So you get that synergy, that understanding each other, and then that allows better decision making. Allows, just executing where they are seeing the space.
Thanks, Julian.
Pleasure, Liam.
Thanks, Liam. Dylan, your hand was up, and then you put it down again. Are you okay?
Same question.
Thanks, Ian. Yes, so yeah, just I do have a question. Hi, Julian. Just turning to Munster for a second. Yeah, I don't know if this has been asked already, but it appears that they have a sort of a gritty resilience to their squad, because I'm looking at last week's game at Loftus. There were times where it looked like the Bulls were really going to get on the front foot, but they sort of, Munster seem to have that. It's almost similar to you guys at the Lions, that they have a way of just sticking in the game and sort of fighting it out. Have you also just sort of seen that in them?
Yeah, I think from the Irish teams, if you can put a word like tough on a team, I think you would put them and Connacht. It's 2 tough teams. Like you said, they've got that never die attitude. There's a reason they won the URC last year. They played their quarterfinal away, semi-final away, final away, and they still managed to find a way to win, which I think speaks a lot to their way of play, and like you said, their attitude, just the fight they have. I think also their coaches drive that really hard, which you can see. So in our view, they are a really tough team. I don't think you can just think they're going to go lie down, even though you're ahead. Like you said, the Bulls started to get upper hand, but they just never quit. They never threw the towel in and just kept fighting and working hard. So yeah, I think you summed it up perfectly, and we see it the same.
Great stuff. Thanks, Dylan. Guys, are we okay? I don't see any other hands. Liam, you're fine. Kobus is cool. All right, guys. Thanks very much for your time. We do appreciate it. Coach Jules, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful day. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you. You too, Julian.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.